An official from Tunisia's Old Guard claims victory in the country's presidential election. How Sudan's 3-year civil war is impacting young students. And a look back at a year of unforgettable celebrity weddings. Africa 54 starts right now.
Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. Tunisians are awaiting the official results of the country's presidential election, but candidate Beji Said Essebsi is claiming victory. However, incumbent interim president Monsef Marzouki is refusing to concede defeat. Here's more from Reuters' Paul Chapman.
The official results aren't out yet, but this man, Beji Said Essebsi, says he's the winner in Tunisia's presidential election. The veteran politician was the front-runner after the first round of voting in November. His rival, Monsef Marzouki, battling to hold on to the presidency, is refusing to concede defeat. He says it's too soon to say who's won. The election is seen as the last step in Tunisia's shift to full democracy, 4 years after the uprising that ousted autocrat Zine El Abidine Ben Ali. The official results are expected later on Monday.
Well, Tunisia was the first to depose its leader in the Arab Spring, and it inspired other uprisings in the region. An explosion at a bus station in Nigeria has killed at least 15 people. Local officials say the bomb wounded another 21 people at the bus station in Gombe City. A car bomb killed 10 people in late October at a bus stop in Gombe. No one has claimed responsibility, but the attack Monday took place in northeastern Nigeria, where the Islamic extremist group Boko Haram has repeatedly staged attacks on civilians in its effort to carve out an Islamic state. Well, Sunday Bayak is 16 years old and displaced. When fighting started in Bentiu, he fled like thousands of South Sudanese to UN-protected sites. Many of his male friends joined the rebels either to take revenge for killing their relatives or out of hunger, or both. But Sunday is different. He wants to stop the vicious cycle of violence that has marred his country. Beno Mushla has more.
About 50,000 people live on the protected UN site near Bentiu in the north of South Sudan. Half of them are children and teenagers. Sunday Bayak is one of them. This morning he helps organize younger children so that they have something to do. Both government and opposition fighters have used child soldiers. Many of Sunday's friends took up arms.
My work was young children. Is that to teach them. If they don't know something, I'm going to teach them. If they're going was a bad way, I'm telling that this way is not good for you, and let us go to good way, and let us be in peace. We don't need people, so we need to be in peace.
Sunday helps organize sports games and discussions and teaches peace songs, a way to roll back war propaganda that the government broadcasts via FM radio into the UN camp. Lately, youth gangs have emerged in the camps and formed along the lines of the opposing parties. Michael Dengaduel is a teacher and works at a makeshift school that was just opened by the UN and humanitarian organizations.
We encourage them to come to school and forget what has been happened to them, because some of the children, they lost their family, and also some of the children, they are vulnerable, they are not able, they are traumatized.
A political dispute spiraled into ethnic conflict in a country just 3 years old, leaving hundreds of thousands of South Sudanese displaced. It seems a human tragedy that the youngest generation is now going through the exact same things that parents and grandparents experienced in South Sudan's decades-long war for independence. Deng says the only solution to South Sudan's conflict is for people to sit down and reconcile. Perhaps Sunday Bayak and those young people he influences will be able to show the way. Beno Mushla, VOA News, Bentiu, South Sudan.
Well, staying in the region, the school dropout rate is at an all-time high in South Sudan's Kordofan state. Many schools were destroyed during the 3-year civil war between the government and SPLA-N rebel forces. Adam Bales visited Sudan's Nuba Mountains region and reports many children are simply too scared to go to school.
For 3 years, people have been living under the shadow of conflict in Sudan. Almost every school in the Nuba Mountain state of South Kordofan has been bombed or damaged by attacks, and at least 40% remain closed. Many children have no school to go to or are afraid to attend. Tunguli Model Primary School's headmaster, Butru Moham, says the school was bombed last year and now holds lessons under the trees, close to the safety of caves.
One of the challenges which we have here is security. That is our first things. Second, school stationaries are not there immediately. The one books which we have it here for people, it is only to be with a teacher, and these books is not enough for people to be used.
Children who do not have school books do mathematics in the sand.
We are facing many things here in the school. Even we don't have exercises and we don't have pencils. And even we are lacking in terms of these things. We have these things comes and bombs on us. So we are facing many problems here in this school.
This blackboard was damaged after a bomb fell just metres away. Officials say 120 of the 243 primary schools in 10 Nuba Mountain counties have been bombed. One major problem now is lack of teachers. Tunguli Model Primary School has 13 teachers for 900 pupils.
The teachers which are left here now, who are teaching the children, they are few. They are not many. They are few. And most, they are not trained teachers. They are not given salary. And also due to aerial bombardment, also they started fearing, also they went to the camp. Here we are offering ourselves freely. People are teaching without payment. There's no any payment. Even to get even a piece of soap, even for washing the clothes so that you go and teach the children, is now a problem.
Head teacher Kuku Barnabas says Cowder's teacher training school is still operating after being bombed, but cannot take all students.
Because of the war, most of the secondary school closed down. Most of the students, they ran away to refugees camp, and even the teachers who are teaching in such a secondary school, they went to refugees camp in Ada. We left only with one institute, which is this one here, and even the number of the students which normally we admit, they dropped simply because of accommodation, which is not enough.
The Enough Project estimates 53% of children in the region's households are not attending classes because schools are not functioning, they cannot afford school fees, and because of insecurity. Under blockade by Sudan's government, civilians living in SPLA North-held areas receive no humanitarian support. This unexploded bomb, dropped by the Sudan government, sits in the grass just metres away from Peace High School for Girls. Many here speculate the attacks on civilians are designed to drive out the population and destabilise support for the SPLA North rebels. Meanwhile, bombing schools is destroying a future generation's right to education. This afternoon, children learn Swahili, a crucial part of Sudan's curriculum. Many hope to escape to Swahili-speaking countries where there is no war. Adam Bales for VOA News, Kolib, Sudan.
Well, now to the United States, where President Barack Obama is condemning the ambush shooting of two New York City police officers at point-blank range in broad daylight as they sat in their car. Dozens of New York police saluted as the bodies of Wenjun Liu and Rafael Ramos were taken from the hospital Saturday evening.
Our city is in mourning. Our hearts are heavy. We lost two good men who devoted their lives to protecting all of us. Officer Ramos, Officer Liu died in the line of duty, protecting the city they loved.
They were killed in Brooklyn's Bedford-Stuyvesant area by a 28-year-old man, Ishmael Brinsley, who was said to have posted anti-police writings on social media. New York police were alerted to the threats by police in the Atlantic Coast state of Maryland, where the suspect is accused of shooting and wounding a former girlfriend.
What was the motivation, to the best of our understanding? So those Instagram postings, which were very anti-police based on the briefing I had. We'll also seek to go back over time into this suspect's life as to whether there were other postings, whether he had accounts of his own. This ones that we're aware of this afternoon as he was coming toward New York, that those are part of multiple investigations that are now underway to try and make sense out of what was his motivation.
The gunman threatened revenge for the chokehold death of Eric Garner and an armed black man by a white police officer in New York. There have been nationwide protests of Garner killing and that of the killing of Michael Brown in Missouri. Civil rights activist Reverend Al Sharpton said Garner's family had no connection to the suspect and denounced the shootings. Well, the United States is rejecting an offer by North Korea for a joint investigation into the hacking of Sony Pictures and is reaching out to China to help block further cyber attacks from Pyongyang. North Korea denies it was responsible for the breaking into Sony Pictures' computer network and posting embarrassing emails, other private data, and unreleased film projects on the internet. Now, the communist state, however, has praised the computer attack, which eventually led to Sony cancelling the scheduled December 25th release of the satirical comedy The Interview, in which the CIA hires two journalists to kill North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Authorities say the hackers made threats to Sony and potential moviegoers if the film is released. Well, more than 20 women have accused American comedian Bill Cosby of sexual misconduct. And while the actor denies the accusations and has not been charged with a crime, VOA's Michael Sullivan reports the scandal has tarnished his reputation and has shaken Hollywood.
Some of the accusations against Bill Cosby are more than a decade old. But in recent weeks, one woman after another has alleged that Bill Cosby drugged, raped, or sexually abused them when they were young women or teenagers.
I knew I had been drugged, and I had been drugged really good.
Authorities say the alleged offenses happened too long ago to prosecute. Cosby, now 77, denies the accusations, but has otherwise said little.
There is no comment about that.
Hollywood columnist Brian Lowry of the publication Variety says the scandal has gained momentum.
I think a lot of people, even initially, who might have said, well, this is one or two people and maybe they're trying to shake him down for money, when that starts to get to be 10, 12, 15, close to 20, then you start to wonder how many people could really be making it up or getting into it for those kinds of reasons.
Los Angeles stand-up comic Tehran Von Gosfrey was inspired as he grew up watching Cosby on television. He thinks the performer needs to speak out.
In my opinion, if he's accused of sexual harassment, he has to address it. For me, he owes me that.
Von Gosfrey says celebrities like Cosby should be held to a high standard because of their influence, especially on young African Americans like him.
Or millions of kids are looking up to you. You are a role model, whether you want to be or not.
Gosfrey's friend, criminal lawyer Alaleh Kamran, says Cosby has been unfairly convicted in the public mind.
Legally speaking, he has not been charged. And as long as he's not charged and he's not convicted, he's an innocent man, and he should be regarded as such.
This is one of many recent scandals that has shaken the world of entertainment in the United States and Britain. British icon Jimmy Savile, who died 3 years ago, has been the subject of hundreds of allegations of sexual attacks on women and children. But another British celebrity, television actor Michael Lavelle, was accused and last year acquitted of raping a child. Brian Lowry says the scandal is now part of Cosby's legacy.
He won't just be someone who starred in one of the most popular television shows of all time, who was an enormously popular stand-up comic, who was active into his 70s, and all the things that you might say about him. His legacy will forever bear this mark.
Lowry says if Cosby is innocent, he has failed to address the charges effectively. Mike O'Sullivan, VOA News, Los Angeles.
We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we covered. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, a Tanzanian entrepreneur launches a tabloid empire and has the mainstream press on the run. Stay with us. Welcome back to Africa 54. Now, this summer, 500 fellows from President Barack Obama's Young African Leaders Initiative came to the U.S. to study in management, leadership, and entrepreneurship. VOA caught up with one of them, Ghanaian JJ Zegbefia, which isn't easy to do because he's always on the move. He may even have the world record for the fastest climb of Mount Kilimanjaro. And now he's turned his love of the outdoors into a business model.
Okay.
Every climbing adventure teaches me something new. So when I climb, she will be my belay.
Great.
Yeah, and I become the climber.
So the transition between what I was used to and what something that was completely new was an eye-opener for me. And I began to really think about all the kinds of stuff I'll have to ensure that my clients have when I'm going back home, at least to ensure their safety and their comfort while making room, of course, for our typically hot climate. I work in a part of the world, as you're very much aware, in Africa, where people are very less trustful of outdoor adventure and extreme sports.
It's okay? No.
Yes, okay.
Oh my God.
So it's important for everyone to understand what the safety systems in place are. And that's probably even going to be the first thing we're going to market before we market the actual activity. Now that we are going to do rappelling, commercial rappelling with the US ADF grant, I am going to be introducing, as part of the entire system, helmets and harnessing systems and rope safety systems for my clients. Yeah, and just like the risk management techniques I have learned here, I would apply the same to ensure that the rappelling business is completely safe.
We have lots of people come through Knowles as students, oftentimes as interns, obviously employees, things along those lines. And I think everybody brings something a little bit special. But I think for somebody like JJ, who's had experiences in Ghana, and then he can come here, plug into our community. We learn from him, and hopefully he's learning something from us as well at the same time.
They actually have it to an exact science. They know how many pounds of food a person needs for a time and how much calories. And so there was actually a science to it, and that was good to learn.
JJ was wonderful. I didn't realize he had, until we got going, I didn't realize he had any experience.
Pendable are there, those ones on that side. The sleeping mats.
I should have known, because from day one, he just had this calming, supportive presence. And it was just, he's an amazing person. I'm really glad he was on our trip.
I'm better positioned to now drive home both the grants access that we have and all the experiences that I have to, in the next couple of months, really make a difference in Ghana when it comes to adventure sports.
My name is JJ Kweku Zegbefia, and I am from Ghana, and I'm the expedition leader for Brave Hearts Expeditions.
Well, from West Africa to East Africa, Tanzania is one of the fastest growing economies in Africa. So is the citizens' appetite for trending gossip and entertainment news. Where do they turn to for this information? Africa 54's Paul Ndiho joins us now to tell us all about it. Paul?
Thanks, Vincent. There are numerous media outlets in Tanzania, including dozens of daily and weekly newspapers. The government controls the 2 daily newspapers, and the 2 main opposition political parties own 1 each. But global publishers, the publishers of the leading gossip, entertainment, sports, and popular culture newspapers, are literally giving other publications on the streets a run for their money. Tanzania is said to have a vocal and relatively free press by standards of the region. and even a criticism of the leaders is often correlated. In a report published earlier this year by Freedom House, Tanzania was ranked as partly free. As a result, dozens of major daily publications, television stations, radio stations, and numerous internet platforms are thriving. Eric James Shigongo owns Global Publishers.
When we started this business back in 1998, we were just a group of young people. We thought we should do what is missing in the society. There were newspapers, but they were all mainstream newspapers, the political newspapers mainly. And we said, what more can we do? We looked at the newspaper industry and realized that there was a gap. And the gap was actually tabloid newspapers.
Eric James Shigongo is one of Tanzania's most prominent entrepreneurs. He has a wider variety of venture pursuits, including media, hotels, farming, real estate, and property development. Shigongo's story from poverty to success as a celebrated African author, motivational speaker, despite repeated hardships, is remarkable.
We always tell people that we are not in this business mainly to make money. We are in this business to change the community and help the community become a better community. So, in short, it is hard work.
Mr. Shigongo has always turned adversity into triumph. Over the years, he has expanded his business holdings across much of the country and employs hundreds of people.
We are dealing mostly with tabloids, which are covering most of the stories about superstars, politicians, and we do cover a lot of scandals which are going on the streets.
Saleh Ali is one of the senior editors at Championi.
I want to be the champion now, to not competing only, but to be the king, the sports paper, the king. If people, they see Champion, they say, this is a paper. Like if you see Le Cape in France, this is what I want to do. And I'm telling you, believe me, trust me, this is going to be.
Like all great entrepreneurs, Shigongo's success was built on his canny ability to spot opportunities and to take risks. He also credits the help of many people along, like one of his trusted friends and longtime colleague, Abdallah Marisho. Mr. Marisho attributes the success of his tabloids to the team of talented young journalists who are deployed on the streets to capture what's happening.
Our number one qualification is passion. That's the number one. Do you like what you're doing? Do you think you can be a global journalist? Because a global journalist is somehow different from other journalists, I can say. Because our kind of stories is not the story that you wait for someone to make a press release or to make a press conference for you to take what he's saying and report. But ours, you have to go behind the curtains.
Analysts say newspapers in Africa are still king and will continue to play significant roles as the major sources of news, gossip, entertainment, sports and popular culture, despite a declining advertising revenue. Critics say that although the Constitution of Tanzania provides for freedom of speech, numerous other laws encourage self-censorship and limit the ability of the media to function effectively. Paul Ndiho, VOA News. In my next report, I will take a closer look at Maxcom Africa, Tanzania's electronic payment solutions company that is trying to bring various electronic payment services closer to the people through a network of agents called Max Malipo. Back to you, Vincent.
Well, we look forward to that report, Paul. Thanks a lot. It's time now for a short break. Still to come on Africa 54. It was the year of I Do. A look back at the top celebrity weddings of 2014. We'll be right back.
oya birumvikana ibyo
You find those like
Welcome back to Africa 54. Here's what's trending. Celebrities were in the mood for love in 2014. It was the year of the celebrity wedding. Kim Ye, George Clooney, Angelina Jolie, and more finally said, "I do," in the most romantic ways possible. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie were wed this summer in France in a civil ceremony. Oscar winner George Clooney and human rights lawyer Amal Alamuddin married during a multi-day extravaganza in Venice, Italy, in late September. And after a whirlwind romance, reality TV star Kim Kardashian and rapper Kanye West wed in style in Florence, Italy. And in other celebrity wedding news, entertainer star Elton John and longtime partner David Fanish officially married Sunday on the 9th anniversary of the day they entered into a civil partnership. Now, the couple converted their civil bond under new laws implemented in England earlier this year that allow same-sex marriage. John says the wedding would be a joyous occasion shared with the couple's two sons, Zachary and Elijah. And that is what is trending today. Well, it's time for our Monday sports update. Sunny Young is off today. Well, boxing legend Muhammad Ali is in hospital with a mild case of pneumonia. The three-time world heavyweight champion is in stable condition. Ali's spokesperson says the illness was caught early and he is expected to make full recovery. No other details are being released due to the Ali family's request for privacy. Ali's public appearance have diminished in recent years as he continues to battle Parkinson's disease, which was first diagnosed in the mid-1980s. And that is our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. For more news, tune in to VOA's evening radio show, Africa News Tonight, at 1800 UTC and in the mornings to Daybreak Africa between 0300 and 0600 UTC Monday through Friday. Thanks a lot for watching. From all of us here in Washington, have a good night.
On Assignment really is designed to be your backstage pass to VOA reporting all around the world.
But what VOA On Assignment does is to put you in the driver's seat with that reporter, so you would see things as a reporter sees it.
We allow our reporters to tell us the details that they weren't able to include in their stories.
VOA Economics Editor Jim Randall, thanks so much. VOA On Assignment puts a human face to the stories of our correspondents.
That's really what it's all about.
We are able to touch on things that are important to people on an everyday basis. Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. In a lively half hour, news, sports, health, lifestyle information, comments from our viewers. Africa 54, the best for Africa, about Africa. Join us only on VOA.